recording. I believe we're live.
Let's do it, brother.
Hey, can someone chat us up if you can hear us and see the marquee? I believe we're live on the horizon, preparing your business for the new normal.
Martin says you're live.
We're live. All right. Nice. We're also broadcasting live on Facebook. So thanks, everybody, for joining us. I'm going to go video now. You should be able to see Eric and me live from our homes in Philadelphia and outside of Philadelphia. I really appreciate you guys joining us. So what are we doing here? First of all, welcome to On the Horizon. We wanted to create a show with positive ideas related to what's going on in the world today, focusing on innovation, digital transformation, and creativity. I'm Mike Lieberman. I'm the CEO at Square 2 Marketing, and I'm joined with my longtime friend and business partner, Eric Kalis. We want to help all of you figure out the new normal and how to get your businesses up and running, given what's going on. Since we want to be positive, I thought I would start with a positive story from over the weekend. So Eric and I have a bunch of friends that we've known for over 40 years, and one of them celebrated his birthday, his 55th birthday yesterday. So we practiced some social distancing and appropriate birthday celebrations with masks and gloves. We drove over to his house. We stood outside of his house. We brought him some food and brought him outside, and from an appropriate distance, wished him a happy birthday. And it was really nice for him and for us to do something that was close to what we typically do when the world used to be what it was. So we want to share stories like that. And today, what we're going to focus on are some of the innovation and digital transformation stories that we've seen around the world. And with that, I'll turn it over to Eric to share some of the examples of the big business innovation and transformation stories that he's noticed.
Yeah, if you follow, good morning, everybody. If you followed some of our content over the years, we always talk about being remarkable. And in regular times, we encourage folks to think about what their prospects want. What would make their prospects go, wow? And what do you know it? The virus situation has caused people to be in a situation where they must pivot. They must change their business. So let's start with some big business examples. Let's talk about the very arduous task of buying a car. You have to do all your research online, then you have to go into a palatial showroom, you have to be attacked by a salesperson, there has to be negotiating, no, gotta haggle, and then you finally get your new car. Well, we can't go into the showrooms now. So I don't know if you guys have noticed some of the recent automobile advertising. Hey, let's bring this car right to your house. Do everything online, we'll deliver it to you, no contact delivery, which is great. But why couldn't I have that before? So once again, we want to think about like how you can pivot to match up with the new normal without reinventing your entire business. Here's a second example. For you folks like me that like to go out to eat, Open Table is a great app. You go on there, you reserve a table at 8 o'clock, you and 3 friends get to have a great meal without any hassle. Well, as we all know, no restaurants and bars are operating, so what is Open Table to do? Well, their team realized they have a great app for reserving time, and supermarkets and grocery stores are looking to space people out as their entrance into the supermarket. So they use the same Open Table app where now you could reserve 20 minutes in a supermarket. A big pivot, but yet just simply to a different target market, platform remains the same. And I thought it was fascinating to see Airbnb, probably one of the companies that's going to be hurt most in this scenario, pivot their activities to be, okay, healthcare people need places to live, even temporarily. During this period of shutdown, Airbnb rotated into helping people with healthcare housing. A really positive, a good PR for them, using their platform once again, but thinking a little bit outside the box to help people through a pivot. And that's the kind of thinking we want you to think about with your business as we come to the end of this tunnel of the enforced lockdown.
That's awesome, Eric. But a lot of the people listening, I'm sure, are smaller businesses, and while those big business ideas are inspiring, like how could a smaller business or someone that maybe is a little more parochial industry or maybe has a smaller budget, how can they try to think about innovation for their companies?
Well, it's a great question, Mike. And, you know, as we've always been immersed in the entrepreneurial world, we're hearing stories of left and right on a daily basis. So let me give you a few of the smaller businesses pivots that might inspire some of our visitors today to think differently about their business. The first one, which I absolutely love, which is so simple, is that there is a market-leading bow tie manufacturing that simply changed their patterns, and now they're making really nice designer face guards. Something we're all going to need, not only now, but hopefully not too long into the future, but something where all of a sudden we want to stand out. Well, I can buy a medicinal one, or for a few extra dollars, I can buy a fashion-forward one. Or how about a company like Springboard Media that was typically an Apple reseller, but now they've had such demand for people that have to work home, they're really leaning in onto message, let us set up your remote network. Even though we have the technology, the vast majority of businesses are not working remotely, but this, once again, situation has caused them to rethink the way that they work. Mike, you remember the prospect we had a few weeks ago, 1,000 employees, not one person worked remotely. A second that the lockdown hit, they were up the creek. And this is a really good time for Springboard IT to lean into that remote. Hey, let me give you another one. Here's a company that makes super high-end shutters for your house. So you want to have new shutters on your house because your old ones were deteriorating because they were made of wood. This company makes them out of some plastic material. Well, nobody's ordering shutters now, so they immediately switched, and they were using some of their plastic materials to make personal protection equipment. And the first week, they got an order for 50,000 pieces. They had the plant, they had the machinery, they had the people. Now all of a sudden, they just had to ship what they were making. And then I'll give you the fourth one, which I absolutely love. It's a chain of auto body shops here in Philadelphia. Obviously, nobody's driving around, so nobody's banging up their car, so nobody needs auto body service. Once again, 3 locations, a lot of enthusiastic team members. What are we going to do? Well, they stood in the shoes of their prospects, and they said, people want to have germ-free cars. So now they have a service where you can roll in, 20 minutes, you get out of your car, you stand behind the yellow line, they sanitize your entire vehicle with some kind of spray, takes a few minutes for it to kick in, they air out your car, you're back in, and you drive away. Once again, pivoting on things that people really want so that your business can prosper. Were those enough examples, Mike?
Yeah, those are great. And I can actually share a couple of client-related examples too that have kind of a marketing perspective to it. So one of our new clients, one of their business divisions provides cleaning services. But as we've been all talking about, and as we've been talking about with them, the cleaning services they provided before this pandemic is not going to be the same level of cleaning services they need to provide after this is all starting to loosen up a little bit and we can start to go back into these stores. One of their target markets is fitness centers and gyms. And you know that we used to pick those places based on how clean they were, but that is not the level of clean we're going to be looking at going forward. If those machines aren't, you know, like strip certified that it was just recently cleaned, people are not going to want to go in there. And we're really encouraging them to push their message as forward as possible, almost setting the bar on what clean means for people to want to go back in the store. And they've been really aggressive in terms of accepting that advice and wanting to be very message forward with defining what it means, customer clean, you know, safe sanitized, using some really strong messages that are going to want people to feel safe about going back into these retail establishments. So I think that's a really good marketing example of how you can really challenge your business to come out with an interesting message that gets people's attention in a different way than maybe you thought about it before the situation with the virus. The other story I can tell you, since we want to talk a little bit about creativity, is many businesses were counting on many leads from trade shows over the course of the year. And with trade shows gone, you have to start to think about how can I replace those leads with other marketing tactics. And one of the things we've suggested for clients is consider a virtual trade show booth, something that you can put on your website, direct those attendees to, and have a similar kind of trade show experience with them, especially today with the tools that are available to people, chat, book a meeting, video. You can really spin up an amazing trade show booth experience in not a lot of time. Try to get access to that list of attendees and then invite them to come and interact with you. They literally could talk to reps the same way they talk to reps when they go to shows. And if that's inconvenient, they can book a meeting on a rep schedule for later in the week or whenever it's convenient for them. You can host video to help tell your story. You can change out those videos on a daily or even in between daily basis. All the messaging and graphics that you typically were stuck with for an entire show when you showed up can be swapped out, and you can track performance and really create an experience that generates leads. So we all have to think about how we can change our old approach to get ready for the way things are going to be going forward. Who knows when trade shows are going to come back again? I've heard some companies saying it might not be next year, there may not be some trade shows. So this isn't a 2020 exercise anymore. This is a 2020 and a 2021 exercise too, from a marketing perspective, and we all got to think about it. Just to give you guys some feedback on the format, Eric and I do hope to maybe make this a little more interactive after we get a little more comfortable with the format and you guys all are demonstrating good behavior. So we are getting a couple of questions on chat, which I'm very happy to entertain for you guys. Since we have a couple more minutes left, we are going to do our best to be out of here by 9:20 and send you on your day with a little bit of positivity and creativity from our show. But someone asked, is there software for virtual trade shows? And the answer is yes, there is software for virtual trade shows, but what we found is you don't really need software. You can really create a single web page on your website that has these graphics and these tools hosted right there on that page. So, but prior to this, you really needed to be part of a virtual trade show experience, which honestly, I've been to some of those virtual trade shows. They're not great. And there is 3D rendering that allows you to, move your booth around in a 3D way, but you can do all those things. But you might be able to do this in a really easy and creative and smart way where you just have a special web page with some graphics and some tools on it, and you can give your attendees a very simple trade show experience that is as interactive as it would have been if you were at the show with them. Anything you want to add, Eric?
No, I agree. I mean, the one thing from the highest level that I hear a lot of business owners talking about is, I can't wait till it goes back to the way it was. Well, one of the things that Mike and I want to emphasize this morning is there is no the way it was. Everything's going to change forward. Some things slightly and some things in a tectonic manner. You have to start thinking now how your business is going to match up, because I guarantee you that your competitors are thinking about that and you don't want to be left behind. Take Mike's example of the virtual trade show. That's not a trade show that's 3 days and then you break down and then you forget about it. That virtual trade show becomes a permanent part of your website. Hey, you want to have a nice conversation? Let me send you the link. We'll meet at our virtual trade show booth, which gives you a bit of a remarkable experience, enhancing the buyer's journey for your prospects. So these are the kinds of things you have to think about permanently. If you could think about one tip that you take away from today's session is stand in your prospect's shoes. What are they scared of? What pain or problem do they have now purchasing your product? What do they want to see from you? What can you give them that will make those pains and problems go away? That becomes even more important today because people are going to be changing their behavior and business will march on. If you don't think that way starting immediately, you're going to be left behind by competitors who are. So please start standing in the prospect's shoes, gather your leadership teams, jump on a Zoom for an hour and dedicate that time to what is the new normal for my specific business. I guarantee you that you'll come up with multiple ideas about what you could do. You'll sift through those, you'll come up with one big one, and immediately you'll stand out amongst a herd of brown cows.
Yeah, it's great advice, Eric. One thing we can also share with you is our business is doing okay if you're interested in how Square 2 is doing. And one of the things that we're finding most interesting is as this situation continues, our clients and prospects are starting to get more comfortable with the current situation and the understanding that we have to try to push through. I describe it as they're getting their feet under them. So, we're starting to have more new business opportunities than we did as soon as the lockdown came down, where people were panicking a little bit. We've had a client come back to us, and I think you guys are going to see that in your businesses as well. But my point here is that you have to help them. One of the things that we've done really successfully is really help our clients start to lean into their customers and market to their customers and communicate to their customers in a very proactive and helpful way. Something that honestly we used to talk to clients about a lot, and they were mostly fixated on getting new leads and less interested in talking to their current customers. Now they've started to realize that that is super important. You have to really lean in and talk to your current customers. And we've been doing that very aggressively, and it's allowed our customers to kind of get through this with us. And we've adjusted some of our support of them from generating new leads to helping them, their current customers understand what's going on, how they're there to help, what other services they could potentially provide to them. So one of the things we're going to suggest to you today is also to really think about what your customers need and make sure that they're clear how you can help them. And maybe even consider some things that you weren't doing for them before. For instance, we started with a client and we're giving them some special payment terms. And I know there's some software companies that are doing some similar things to that. So, ask them how you can help them. And if it's reasonable and legitimate, they're going to appreciate that. And they're going to remember that when things start to settle down a little bit. So, Eric, anything you want to add before we wrap up?
No, I think that, we all gave ourselves a week or two of high anxiety. What is this going to mean to me and my business? But now I think it's time to bear down. And if you notice, Mike and I have been pretty quiet with content over the first part of this COVID-19 situation. But we decided that we were going to come out with something that now that people are thinking forward, that could really help them. So we'd love to get some of your comments. If you have stories about your business or other businesses that have pivoted so that they are looking towards the horizon, send them in to us so we can feature them on this morning broadcast.
That's a great point. Content is not what it used to be. You can't schedule a webinar for 6 weeks from now and market it and, hope people show up like we used to do a couple of months ago. We're doing this live show because things change every day. We want to talk about things that are going on in the world every single day. And you have to think about the content you're bringing to your prospects and customers in the same way. This was uncomfortable for me this morning. I got up, I had to get this set up, Facebook Live, and we haven't done something like this before, but we're going to figure it out. It's going to get better each time. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys want to come back every day and do this with us. We will continue to share stories about positivity in business, innovation ideas that get you thinking, create creative ways to market and get your sales engine fired back up again. And Eric and I both know that we will all, as a community, get through this together. Our businesses will be stronger. Yes, the world will be different, but we will all be out there. We will all be participating, and we will all be helping to make everybody's life just a little bit better. And before we sign off, I just could not be more thankful to the people who are out there helping us deal with this. I posted on Twitter a couple of days ago. I wish I could donate $1 million to the healthcare workers, but what I can do is say thank you to them, the people in our stores who are helping us get groceries, the people who are taking care of our cars, the people who are delivering stuff to our houses. We would not be getting through this as easily if it wasn't for those people who are keeping the trains running and allowing us to do some of the things that we want to do. So thank you to all of them. And thank you for you guys for participating in this. I'm going to post all the sessions to the same page where you got the website link. So we'll have on-demand versions of each session. If you missed this or you want to go back and listen to it again, I'm going to ask you to share this with your friends and family and colleagues, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. The more people that we can get to participate, the better. And thank you all for participating. Thanks for spending 20 minutes with us. And we'll see you back here tomorrow for some different stories with a different take on how to innovate your business, transform it in a really difficult time. Thank you so much, everybody, and have a really great day.